Good afternoon, everyone, especially to all 8th graders in the division of Davao de Oro. I am Teacher Meshell E Niere of Tambongon National High School, Pantukan South District, and I will be your guide in enhancing your minds in order to face the challenges in Grade 8 Mathematics. Ready your self-learning module, your paper and pens with you, and let us have a wonderful day of solving problems involving systems of linear equations in two variables by substitution. After going through this afternoon's discussion, you are expected to 1. Translate word problems into linear equations. 2. Solve problems involving linear equations in two variables. And 3rd, apply the concepts of solving linear equations in dealing with real-life problems. There are many real-life situations that exhibit linear equation in two variables. Almost any situation where there is an unknown quantity can be presented by linear equation. Like number 1. Find the cost of a tricycle trip you take from your house to the school. Identify the monthly salary of a person working in a company. 3rd, making a budget for your birthday party. These are the steps to solve problems involving linear equation in two variables. First, read and understand the problem. Second, translate the problem into an equation of two variables. Third, find the solution using the formulated equation. And fourth, check the solution obtained by substituting the solution or solutions to the original equations. To model these steps, let us consider this example. Listen very carefully as I read our first problem. Our problem is: a carpenter wants to cut a 16-foot piece of wood into two pieces. The longer piece is to be 1 foot longer than twice the shorter piece. Find the length of each piece. Again, a carpenter wants to cut a 16-foot piece of wood into two pieces. The longer piece is to be 1 foot longer than twice the shorter piece. Find the length of each piece. The problem is we are asked to find the length of each piece. In finding the solution, we have to follow the following steps mentioned just a little while by starting with step number 1. That is, understand the problem. Part of understanding the problem is to inspect carefully what are given. Based on the problem, the carpenter wants to cut a 16-foot piece of wood into two pieces. For you to be guided, please Draw a piece of wood on your paper that has a length of 16 feet, and this will serve as your visual illustration. Divide the wood into two in which one is longer than the other. We will find the length for each divided piece of wood. Since the length of each piece is unknown, we will let the longer piece as X to be its length, and the shorter one will be labeled with Y. Y represents the length of the shorter piece of wood. Therefore, X is the representation of the longer piece of wood and Y for the shorter piece of wood. We will proceed to step number 2. Step number 2 orders us to write the equation or equations. Going back to our illustration, we divided the wood having a length of 16 feet into two. One is longer with the length X, and the shorter one has the length Y. When we are going to add the length of the longer piece and the shorter piece, this will lead us to writing the equation X plus Y equals 16. X for the length of the longer piece of wood, and again, Y is the length for the shorter piece of wood. And the 16 is the length of the wood itself. We'll read back our problem. It is said there that a carpenter wants to cut a 16-foot piece of wood into two pieces. The longer piece is to be 1 foot longer than twice the shorter piece. Find the length of each piece. Now, I want you to recall that our topic is solving problems involving system of linear equations in two variables by substitution. Remember that the system of linear equation in two variables is defined as system of linear equation can only be formed if there are two linear equations considered together. Therefore, we are expected to have two linear equations. Now, we already have our first linear equation, which is X plus Y equals 16. We will formulate, or we will write the other one based on the condition of our problem. And according to its additional condition, the longer piece is to be 1 foot longer than twice the shorter piece. Translating this statement into mathematical equation, we'll now have the longer piece is represented by X. The longer piece is to be 1 foot longer. We have X equals 2 plus 1. Again, we have X equals 2Y plus 1. That is, the longer piece represented by X is equal to 1 foot longer than twice the shorter piece Y. We have 2Y there in our equation because it is stated there the condition is twice the shorter piece, meaning we have to multiply 2 to our shorter piece, which is Y. So we have now x equals 2y plus 1 as our other equation. Let's now proceed to our next step. Step number 3 says, solve the system of equations. When we say solve the system of equations, it's like saying that we have to find the value of the variables involved which serve as the unknown. In this problem, the variables involved are x and y. Therefore, we need to solve for x and y. The two equations involved, based on our written equation, we have x plus y equals 16. And second, x equals 2y plus 1. In solving so, one of the two equations should be expressed as x or y, meaning either the variable x or y is isolated alone or located alone either to the left side or to the right side of the equation. Observe closely the two equations. Which of the two do you think is expressed as x or y? Correct. It is the second equation. The equation x equals 2y plus 1. As you can see, x alone is at the left side of the equation. Observed. The value of x is 2y plus 1, which is to be substituted to x in equation 1. The equation x plus y equals 16 become 2y plus 1 plus y equals 16. X is being replaced by 2y plus 1. That is why the new equation again is 2y plus 1 plus y equals 16. Next, combine like terms. We have 2y and y to be combined since they are similar terms. Therefore, we have 2y plus y, copy plus 1 equals 16. Next, combine all the constant terms. Our constant here are 1 and 16. Therefore, transpose 1 to the right side of the equality sign. The equation becomes 2y plus y equals 16 minus 1. Perform the indicated operation. Now, we have 3y equals 15. Why? Because 2y plus y is 3y and 16 minus 1 is 15. Our new equation now is 3y equals 15. Now, solve for y. When we say solve for y, we need to find the value of y. And y should be left alone to the left side of the equality sign. As what we have observed, we have 3 as the numerical coefficient of our y. So to get rid or to divide out 3, we need to divide both sides by 3. So 3y divided by 3 equals 15 divided by 3. 3y divided by 3 is y. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. Again, the value of y is 5. We're done solving for y. Now, before solving for x, let's pause for a while, and when we come back, we will solve for the value of x.
The Radyo Z-eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Niere Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corbada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Our 5-minute break is over. So let's continue solving for the value of x. In our previous discussion, we do have solved the value of y, which is 5. In finding the value of x, we have to substitute the value of y to our equation x plus y equals 16. Again, to get the value of x, we have to replace the value of y, which is 5, to our first equation. And our first equation, as mentioned earlier, is x plus y equals 16. In performing so, we now have x plus 5 equals 16. Y is being replaced by 5. And after replacing or substituting y by 5, we will combine like terms. And we have the constant terms 16 and 5 to be combined together. Therefore, we have x equals 16 minus 5. And x now becomes 11. So the value of our x is 11. Again, the value of our x is 11 and y is 5. For our fourth step, we will check the solution by going back to our problem. This means that the longer piece is 11 feet long since the value of our x is 11 and the value of our y is 5. This also means that the shorter piece is 5 feet long. This time, let's do the checking. Is the sum of the lengths of the two pieces equal to 16? Now, let's check. 11 plus 5 is 16. 11 is for the length of the longer piece, and 5 is for the length of the shorter piece. When we are going to add 11 plus 5, its sum is 16. Therefore, it satisfies the conditions that the sum of the two lengths is 16, which was the length of our wood earlier. The second one is 11, 1 more than twice 5. We have 1 plus 2 times 5 is 11. So therefore, the answer is correct since it satisfies both conditions. Now, the value of our x is 11 and y is 5 as our final solution. This time, we'll proceed with our second example. Our second example says, I have two numbers whose sum is 10 and whose difference is 46. What are the two numbers? Again, I have two numbers whose sum is 10 and whose difference is 46. What are the numbers? First step is understand the problem. There are two basic pieces of information that are given in the problem. One is the sum of the two numbers, and second, the difference of the two numbers. The two equations of the system will be based on the two conditions we have cited. Therefore, we have to let x be the larger number and y for the smaller number. It is assumed that the two numbers are not equal. Why? Because their difference is not 0. Therefore, one is larger than the other number. Again, we will set x as the larger number and we will let y as the smaller number. Step number 2. Write the equations. The sum of the two numbers is 10. Remember that one of the number is larger than the other, which is represented by letter x, and the smaller number is represented by letter y. Adding the two numbers x and y is 10. Writing it mathematically, we now have the equation x plus y equals 10. Second, the difference of the two numbers is 46. Therefore, we have the number x and the number y. When we say difference, the operation between the two is subtraction. Therefore, the equation now is x minus y equals 46. We now identify our two equations, x plus y equals 10 and x minus y equals 46. Now we will consider these two equations together to make it a system of linear equation. For our third step, we will solve the system of equations. We will solve the system of equation by substitution. The first equation is x plus y equals 10 and the second one is x minus y equals 46. Again, we will solve the system of equation by substitution. We can only substitute a certain value of a variable to one of the equations if one of the equations in the system is being expressed either in the term of x or in the term of y. In other words, the variable x or the variable y should be alone or should be isolated either to the left side of the equality sign or to the right side of the equality sign. But as we have observed, between the two equations, there is none, right? Therefore, we need to choose among or between the two to be modified so that the term or the equation will be expressed in the term of x or in the term of y. As for me, I will choose the second equation, that is x minus y equals 46. So for x minus y equals 46, we will solve for x. So therefore, x should be left alone to the left side of the equality sign. Therefore, minus y will be transposed to the right side of the equality sign, and the equation now becomes x equals 46 plus y. We will extract our new modified equation in the term of x. So we have x equals 46 plus y. We will substitute the value of x now to our first equation. And our first equation is x plus y equals 10. Again, the value of x, which is 46 plus y, will be replaced to our first equation, x plus y equals 10. We now have 46 plus y in our equation because it replaced our variable x. Then copy plus y equals 10. Next is combined like terms by adding. We now have 46 plus y will give a sum of 2y. So we have 2y and then copy the equality sign and the constant 10. Next is to combine the two constants 46 and 10 by transposing 46 to the right side of the equality sign. Our new equation now becomes 2y equals 10 minus 46. Perform the indicated operation. 2y equals 10 minus 46 is negative 36. Now, we will find the value of y, but in our equation, we still have the numerical coefficient 2 attached to our y. So to get rid or to divide out 2, we need to divide both sides by 2. And its quotient now, which is our new equation, is y equals negative 18. So the value of our y is negative 18. We will now find the value of x. The value of x will be found by substituting the obtained value of y, which is negative 18, to our first equation. Recall, our first equation is x plus y equals 10. So we now have x plus y equals 10 and y will be replaced by negative 18. In doing so, we now have x minus 18 equals 10. Again, y is being substituted by negative 18. Next, transpose negative 18 to the right side of the equality sign so that x will be isolated to the left side of the equality sign alone since we are looking for the value of x. We now have x equals 10 plus 18. Adding 10 plus 18 will give the sum of 28. So, the solution for x is 28 and for y is negative 18. X is equal to 28. This means that the larger number is 28 and y is equal to negative 10. Remember, y represents the smaller number. This means that the smaller number is negative 10. The next thing is to verify whether 28 is the correct solution for x and negative 10 for y. But I want you to do the verification. So while we are having our short break, I want you to check whether 28 is the correct solution for x and y has the solution of negative 10. This means that the larger number is 28 and the smaller number is negative 10. To verify our solution, we will do the checking. But before we will have the checking, let us pause again for a while and we will be back after a short break.
The Radyo Z-eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Niere Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Before we did have our break earlier, you were asked to verify whether 28 is the solution for x and for y we have negative 10. Now, let's do the check. The condition says the sum of the two numbers is 10. The question now is the sum of 28 and 18 equal to 10? Let's check. 28 plus negative 18 equals 10. Perform the indicated operation for 28 and negative 18. According to the rule, if the two integers to be added have different signs, therefore get their difference. So, 28 minus 18 is 10. Therefore, we can now conclude that 28 plus negative 18 has really the sum of 10. How about their difference? According to the condition, their difference is 46. Is the difference between 28 and negative 18 is 46. Let's check. 28 minus negative 18 is 46. In checking or in performing the operation in subtracting 28 and negative 18, we now have 28 plus 18. You have to change the sign of the subtrahend, which is negative, to positive and proceed to the rule of addition. So we have now 28 plus 18. 28 plus 18 will give the sum of 46. Therefore, 46 is the difference of the two numbers. The answer is correct since it satisfies both conditions. We can now say that the greater number is 28 and the smaller number is negative 18. That will serve as the end of discussing the topic solving problems involving systems of linear equations in two variables by substitution. In solving problems involving systems of linear equations in two variables by substitution, we need to observe the following steps. Again, as a wrap-up, we'll have the 4 steps in solving problems involving systems of linear equations. 1. Read and understand the problem. Second, translate the problem into an equation of two variables. Third, find the solution using the formulated equation. And lastly, check the solution obtained by substituting the solution to the original equations. It is known to everybody that this topic is one of the most challenging and interesting topics for the first grading and Mathematics 8, and this also serves as the last topic for the first quarter in Mathematics 8 school year 2019-2020. I am hoping that everyone will do more and try harder as we step out from this quarter and face the new quarter, which is the second quarter in Mathematics 8. That will be all for this afternoon. Godspeed and God bless everyone.
Radyo Z-eskwela Executive Committee, the school's division superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Romel R. Handayan. OIC Curriculum Implementation Division Chief Karina S. Frasco. School Governance and Operations Division Chief Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Members: Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Arlene B. Lim, Dr. Eldicris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Noemi P. Canales, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Virgilito C. Pabrices, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangi, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Dalan S. Milabat, Medard T. Ampit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Productions and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judyland D. Yu, Donna D. D. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riven Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian and Hara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istanyol, Richard H. Arellano, Clee L. S. Blanco, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo Gutierrez Jr., and Jade Karen Arais.